And we're live.
Hello. I don't know if anybody else does this, but we make silly faces in the camera before we go live. I make silly faces at the camera before we go
I was
live.
gonna say, not
Let me
me.
rephrase that.
That would be you.
Yeah. Helps loosen me up a little. I get nervous with these things. I don't like it. Like, oh, I hate being on camera. Anyway, hi.
Oh my gosh. Cat all clawed my hand over here. I'm like, what?
As she should. I want to
I'm done.
Yeah.
All right.
Hi.
We were talking about
How's
today.
it going? Coronavirus. Because I'm sure you've all had more than enough coronavirus stuff.
We promise only episode where we even talk about it.
Well, we did kind of
Well,
last time.
Yeah, I mean,
Kind
we
of.
mention it, but we don't want that to be the crux of everything we do. So won't be an often
Yeah.
thing. But we see a lot of Facebook posts, news articles, all kinds of stuff with people posting things like herbal remedies for coronavirus, things of that nature. And we wanted to, being a medical herbalist, we wanted to, well, it was my idea actually. I thought we should dispel some of the myths that might be out there.
Welcome to your
Daily dose of myth dispelling.
myth dispelling and medicine today. I really did not want to even discuss the coronavirus issue at all. Mostly because I don't want to put any information out there literally at all because we don't know a lot about this virus. This is stuff we're supposed to do before we start. But we don't know a whole lot. We don't know the trajectory of this illness, the type of bacterial infections that could come following viral illness that tends to happen quite a bit, especially when you look at things like pneumonia. So I really didn't want to put anything out there because we just don't know.
And let's be honest, we don't even know the mortality rate. I mean, we have averages, we have different numbers, but you know, we're seeing 3% in some places, and Italy's running at like almost 6% right now. So I mean, even that's not a number that's fleshed out yet because it's so new.
And to be honest, we don't know the prevalence or incidence of this illness, of this disease, of this virus at all, because testing isn't appropriate. We're not able to get to certain populations. And now, in some populations, people are being reinfected. You hear that? We don't even know the rate of people being reinfected. I think I just saw that somewhere.
Yeah, China having some reinfections.
South Korea, where somebody did have coronavirus and they successfully, I guess, got rid of the virus. Again, I'm not sure what that looks like virally within the body, but then they got it again. So there's a whole lot of misinformation out there. People are trying to tackle this as best they can from their homes because we are isolated. And for those of us who are home herbalists or even clinical herbalists, it's kind of scary for us to try to play and mix and match with some of these things to combat this.
Well, as an outside observer who's not an herbalist, I would say the best thing to do is do what's good for you naturally anyway, but don't count on it to be a solution to a new virus that's just come out that even the medical world doesn't know. And don't get me wrong, I'm all about natural remedies and, you know, tinctures and alchemy and stuff. I do all of that as well. But with something that's this specific, you can't expect that your echinacea tincture is going to fight the coronavirus.
And in some cases, some of the herbs that you typically take on a regular basis that you tend to think are good for you can in fact be harmful.
Ibuprofen.
For example, that's one example. What did you do about ibuprofen? I'm so proud of him for this.
They're saying now that ibuprofen actually accelerates some of the damage that coronavirus does to the lungs because since it infects the lungs and the lungs fill up with fluid, and ibuprofen is basically a blood thinner and it thins things out, it's actually making the mucus and things that get in the lungs thinner and it's making it fill up faster or something like that. But anyway, they're basically saying ibuprofen is not good to take, at least at this point with the research they've done, with coronavirus. And so, and again, so we've got a bunch more people on here now. I want to say that we are talking a little bit coronavirus today. Not our norm, not something we want to do often, but we're dispelling some myths in herbalism with regards to coronavirus today.
Let's put a little bit out there.
Yeah.
Let me just say that. I'm putting this out there. Although I am a clinical herbalist, I do have a master's in herbal medicine, I do not consider myself an expert. I don't think anybody can be or is an expert when it comes to working with plant medicine.
In the thousands of herbs that are out there, you're not an expert?
No,
I mean, there's only thousands.
I'm not, unfortunately. I will be one day. But that's not the point. Looking at things that we typically go to for immune system health and support are not really great avenues right now. For example, you don't want to take a lot of echinacea. When you're messing with your immune system in the midst of an antiviral regimen that you're trying to incorporate into yourself and into your body, you have to be really careful with that because you can't be suppressing some things that you don't want to. I'm not sure how scientific I want to get here for the masses. But if you do have some more questions on what I think a little bit more with regard to specific immune support, do let me know.
Put it out there.
Yeah, just contact me. Let me know.
No, put it out there. Give a little science. Science. Oh,
science, bitch.
Breaking Bad.
Well, let's get to what you should do. When it comes to coronavirus, some of the information in the studies that I've been seeing is that this is really a toxic dampness within the body that we're trying to combat here. That's how the virus presents. When it comes to things like fluid in the lungs, I think an herb like pleurisy root would be fantastic. Pleurisy, again, is fluid in the pleural lining of the lungs, pneumonia, essentially. So something like pleurisy root would be good. Something like mullein, I think, would be fantastic as well.
Say mullein.
Mullein is also great for toilet paper. So if you're in an area where there's mullein, you've got it made. I should say that.
You can tincture it, and you can
wipe your ass
with it.
Okay. Don't use fluffy like your cat or your dog.
Oh.
Try not to do that. I saw that somewhere.
Corn cobs?
Ew.
That's what they used to nail it.
Corn cobs?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Does anybody have any information on that? Corn cobs as a toilet paper?
Yeah. Didn't know that?
I did not know that.
Yep.
But if you are looking for something,
I don't even want to visualize how that works.
Right? That's my thoughts exactly. It presents with a headache. In a lot of cases, it doesn't. From what I've been reading, it does not necessarily present as a headache. And in fact, there are a whole lot of unseen viruses out there because people don't present with symptoms at all, which is concerning. The thing that I find most concerning with regard to coronavirus and its presentation with symptoms is the fatigue. Fatigue is such,
Seems to be a big one.
yeah, it's something that really kind of overrides the immune system and the person itself to where you literally can't do anything but just kind of lay around. That's the body's own defense mechanism trying to get itself better. But I think that if I were to look at any particular case, I would look at fatigue and shortness of breath most often with this case.
Fever seems to be fairly common too,
Fever's
but not
a
always.
big one. But in the early stages of progression with this disease, fever doesn't present until later, even up to 14 days after. So that can be concerning. You can still be spreading it. You can still be letting the virus just dwell within your system and grow and grow and grow to where you have a harder time fighting it off once you do present with symptoms. Oh my goodness. If you are on spring break, girls, my girls, my cousins, I'm looking at you, heading off to Mexico, spring break, hot girl summer all over again. Don't do that. Just don't. It's upsetting to see that younger people as often do feel invincible, but just don't. Take care of yourself, take care of other people. Anything that you do go and get out on the beach, even if you're perfectly fine, you are coming home to elders, to infants, to people who don't have the immune system that you do. So just FYI on that.
Helen, ready? I am young. I am invincible. I am woman.
Hear me roar. So one of the things that you do want to do with regard to herbs is try to warm the center. Some of the reading that I've been doing with different herbalists Matthew Wood, Samuel Thompson are some of the names that I've been reading a lot of. You do want to warm the center, so that means the stomach, the spleen. You want to get some warming herbs, think like chai tea, things like that, to really stimulate and warm the center. And I know that that kind of seems counterintuitive with regard to fever, but that will help to open the periphery of the body, the pores of the body outside, to get rid of a virus. That will be very helpful. Samuel Thompson's blend that I really like is lobelia, which will help to keep the pores open within the body, cayenne to warm the stomach, and also bayberry bark to release and break up some congealed mucus that may be in the lungs that you can then cough up. One of the things that I've seen with this virus, and it's been kind of back and forth, is an unproductive cough, so really a dry cough. If you do start to have some fluid and some mucus in the lungs, you do want to try to get rid of that if you can. That's due to something else. That's due to one of his medications that he's taking, but it's something that we've been looking into quite a bit. If you do prefer antiviral herbs, I would definitely look at something like angelica. Don't look to OSHA, although Paul Bergner, Colorado folks out there, Paul Bergner did say that things like lomatium and OSHA and angelica don't really have antiviral properties. So I'm guessing that it might not do a whole lot of good that we're expecting, but it could be something to try. Another one that I really like to look at for something like this would be like L-campaign or Grandalia would be another good option to rid the lungs, kind of warm and keep everything else open to get rid of it. If you do know some really simple blends like Rosemary's Fire Cider would be a great one. It has a lot of great warming herbs, a lot of antivirals in it as well. So that's something that maybe you could look into. I use savory, thyme, oregano quite a bit, even just in food, so using food as medicine rather than just an herbal tincture or a tea or something like that. Use it within your food. Yeah, I have a whole lot more, but now I just feel like I'm giving a class. This is supposed to be discussion. So what's up?
When you get all scientific on this stuff, I feel like the comic relief.
I tend to shut down when I get scientific with stuff unless I'm in that environment. I'm not sure how many people really want to hear the science or want to hear the in-depth things that we're talking about. Like
if you do, post.
Let us know. I would be happy to. I get really into it though, and I get tunnel vision when I do that. So if you want to get real deep down and dirty with some herbs, let me know. Yeah, buddy.
What are you guys doing to isolate and stay away from coronavirus? I know what we're doing.
We are isolating ourselves.
We're in the middle of the desert at the moment.
Haven't been out into town or seen other people. He did have to go yesterday, but we haven't seen people in I don't know how long.
Week.
At least a week since we've seen another person.
For a few more. We got food and stuff.
Although we did have a neighbor come over a couple days ago to help us.
Yeah, he stayed 6 feet away.
He did stay 6 feet away. He didn't even come up to the door, so that's good. I got closer to his dog than I got to him. Amos, he's cute. So anyway, I would love to hear some more thoughts on what other herbalists are doing for this coronavirus. If you do have clients, how are you helping support them? What herbs, what kind of regimens are you putting them onto? What kind of wellness protocols are you implementing for them? I know I have a few that are isolated, and so we're really kind of dealing with some mental health aspects with that and how they are able to continue living in a healthy way and maintaining their wellness while being isolated. That's been a big thing that I've seen. So one thing that I know we are doing just individually with some of our friends and some of our temple mates is starting to implement weekly classes and weekly things where we can get involved with everybody. Because this isolation, as much of an introvert as I am, it's starting to get to me a little bit, just not even being able to go out anywhere. It's starting to hit home. So get me out of here.
I don't feel, I personally don't feel that.
But you go out often.
Well, I had to yesterday. But
and the day before. He has to go out and do things like get water, get propane, stuff like that.
See, I didn't
Even
hardly see
that,
anybody when I did that though. The water thing is self-dispensing, and
but still just getting outside of your house, I
yeah,
think is huge. Even just going to get propane or water, I think is huge. We don't realize how those little things really help support us feel like we're members of community. And then when you don't have that, it can be pretty daunting and overwhelming and isolating, essentially.
yeah.
So that's been hard. That's something I've been struggling with, trying to reach out to some of my friends.
See, I don't feel quite that kind of isolation. I'm starting to feel more like, so those of you watching, if you don't know, we live nomadically. So have, we sold our home, we sold our cars, sold most of what we owned, put some of it in storage, and we live full time in our RV now. And now it's starting to feel like, I don't know when we can move, if we'll be able to move.
Yeah.
We're on BLM land right now, Bureau of Land Management land in the west, which is free to stay on. Doesn't cost us anything to park here. But now we're starting to wonder if they start restricting state to state travel, things like that. What do we do? We will have difficulty moving. We have engagements to get to in Denver and then in Tennessee over the next couple of months. So our plan is to start heading east and a little bit north. But now it's kind of like, I don't know when or if we'll be able to do that. So I'm feeling a little more travel restricted, and not like travel like airplane and being around people, but just being able to actually hitch up and hit the road and move our house.
Yeah. It's a little scary. We might be stuck in California.
And they're starting to close campgrounds, state parks, which are where a lot of RVers stay. We tend to stay more on BLM land, which has not started shutting down BLM land yet. Hopefully, shut down whatever they want. So anyway, that's where I'm starting to feel a little concerned and restricted.
Amelia, you said, or you read that Usnea is a good choice to help damp the stagnation in the lungs. I definitely agree. You do have to be careful with over drying with that as well. So you want to watch that. Use it in small doses. Something that might help with that is a little bit of cayenne as well to keep things moving, to keep the blood moving and to increase blood to the nose and to the lungs and to the mucous membranes as well. That might help along with it, depending on the individual. You also have to be careful with drug interactions. If somebody is on a medication that does increase blood flow, or a blood thinner, for example, you do want to be careful with that. Just always be careful. Consult a professional. If you need help on that, let me know. I hate pimping myself. I hate it. I'm not good at it. I hate it.
I run a store, but I don't want to advertise food.
I don't. Yeah, I'm not an advertiser. Yeah, I'm not a marketer. I'm just not. Anyway, some other really great cooking herbs that you can use to help your body in general. Again, oregano, thyme, savory, some of these warming aromatics will really help.
How much time? Because I've got
on my hands. I knew he was going there. But you do want to. It's good. We do that a lot. I do that a lot. I make awful jokes at the worst possible moment. So I apologize for that. I'm awful at making
That was a
jokes.
bad joke and at the worst possible moment.
Yeah. I learned from the best. But you do want to get some herbs that warm your center and dry up any kind of fluid. So, and keep the pores in the periphery of the body open. Bergamot would be another good one. Rosemary, of course, is a good one. I think along with the healing effects of rosemary, magical effects would be good for this as well. Cinnamon, ginger, all those chai spices would be really helpful in warming the center. That's something that I've noticed with a fever. You kind of don't want to add a whole lot of warming herbs, but when we're trying to get rid of something within the center like this, the lungs and kind of this dampness and this toxicity that's kind of holding in within the center of our bodies, we do want to expel that toward the exits.
So I would like to say/ask, because I see posts like this. Obviously, no medical cure or even vaccine yet for coronavirus, which means, is there an herbal cure?
That's what we're talking about.
I know. I'm summarizing.
This specific, no, there's not.
Thank you.
In a short, answer no. We do know other coronaviruses, though, not
Right.
19, but
Right.
other ones and other herbs have been.
Is there an herb that has yet been proven that, yes, this will help you with coronavirus?
No.
Okay.
There's been nothing.
Thank you.
Natural or chemical in any way that's been proven to help with this. So that's what makes it scary.
And we're all about natural too. I mean, we literally have
Herbalists.
Well, we've made several hundred different kinds of tinctures, but we have in our bathroom probably about 12 or 14 regular tinctures that we take for all different kinds of maladies on a regular basis. So we
40 down in the basement.
we survive on herbal medicine essentially. But
we have no health insurance. Just in case y'all were wondering, we don't have any health insurance at all, so we self-pay. So a lot of what we do for our illnesses is herbal.
Mm-hmm. But I just wanted to point out that there is no proof of any herbal remedies that will help to fight coronavirus. We can hope that some of these that we've talked about. Thank you. Some of the ones you've talked about certainly can't hurt and may help alleviate some symptoms and may help your body to energize and be able to fight this off. But there's nothing proven. So if you see posts on Facebook that say, "Oh, try this remedy because it will fight coronavirus," no.
Who was it that was trying to sell silver? Was it colloidal silver?
They were selling a mixture of colloidal silver and another tincture and something else.
Nothing has been proven. Do not go and send somebody on some whack remedy out there that is guaranteed to get rid of coronavirus. Make sure that you don't get it. Just please don't take advantage of those predatory type people that are out there.
Not to say don't buy a good tincture if there's something that you want and that may help with this, but don't buy into somebody's hype that, oh, this will fight coronavirus, because that's not the case.
Yeah, that's the thing. People are taking advantage of other people at this time. It takes a real shit of a person to do something like that.
Can't say that on camera.
Shit of a person.
Sort of like, no, I'm not going to go there.
Okay.
But anyway.
Awesome. Thank you, Amelia, for chiming in. I do appreciate it. If you do want some more in-depth information on coronavirus, do let me know. I'd be happy to write something up. I know some other fellow herbalists of mine have been doing the same. I've been refraining from putting any information out there just because I don't want to add to the confusion or
feed the beast.
Feed the beast in a way, or anybody to take what I say out of context. Especially here in an environment where I'm very nervous on camera anyway, and I'm just going to talk and talk and talk. I don't want to do that. So if you do need some additional information or are looking for some, please do let me know. I'd be happy to either point you in the right direction or we can discuss some things out and I can write something up based on evidentiary support. Yeah. So in addition to that, how is everybody doing? It's been a couple days. I do want to kind of check in with our followers and see if anybody does need any help, either medicinally, mentally, spiritually. Let us know. We'd be happy to be a friend, a shoulder to cry on, or just somebody to talk to when you're in isolation. We're happy to be here. Yeah, because we could use that too.
What are we going to talk about tomorrow?
What do you want to talk about tomorrow? Not coronavirus.
No.
Inundating. We just wanted to address it.
One-time thing.
It kind of felt weird that we were going on and on with our lives and not even actually addressing what everybody's being inundated with. Yeah. So that's why we did this.
We're talking equinox tomorrow.
Equinox, yes.
Yeah. Yes, we'll probably talk something about the equinox tomorrow. Maybe how it's looked at in some different traditions and what it means to us, at least in one of the traditions that we follow.
And how we can observe it individually, in isolation. What can we do?
Yeah. So tomorrow,
Yeah.
daily dose of Equinox.
Daily dose of magic for tomorrow. Today was a little bit of myth and a little bit of medicine.
All right. Anything else?
I don't think so.
Anybody else got any questions? If you do, hit us up really quick before we shut down.
We're also always open for individual comments or messages.
Or if you have a subject you'd like us to cover, drop us a message, drop us a comment. We'll see the comment. We follow the page pretty closely. So if you got any ideas that you would like to see us discuss, address, whatever it is, if it's something we don't know much about, we'll do some research and talk to it the best we can. And
we'll tell you that we don't know much about it.
we'll tell you we don't know much about it because we're not fakes. You know.
I do
Smell?
smell snake oil.
We smell.
I do that too.
We smell sake oil.
See, I get freaking nervous on
Is
camera.
sake oil sake? We smell sake?
No, I don't know.
Sake!
Anyway, thanks for being here, guys.
All right.
I appreciate it.
Thank you. We'll see you tomorrow.